The bazillion-dollar question facing Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos is, how do you develop Bo Nix into being the franchise quarterback for the Denver Broncos for next year and for decade to come? I think Sean Payton has a brilliant solution for that we're going to break down in this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. I break down all things Denver sports. If you think the Denver Broncos are on an upswing, helps me out a ton if you would like and subscribe. So we heard Peyton Manning just last week. He was asked about what's the best way to develop a rookie quarterback, and he juxtaposed his development versus Eli Manning. Peyton started from the jump, started that entire season, and we remember that he led the league in interceptions. Peyton Manning, his brother Eli, sat behind Kurt Warner and didn't start until his final 7 games. Peyton talked about how there are advantages and disadvantages to starting from your first game as a rookie. He learned a ton through his failure, whereas Eli got to learn a ton sitting behind Kurt Warner. We know Alex Smith started over Pat Mahomes. We know Steve Young sat behind Joe Montana. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre, and then Jordan Love sat behind him. And so we see a lot of times where a rookie quarterback sits for a couple of years or a couple games until they hit their stride. So what are we going to do in Denver as we don't have a wily vet for Bo Nix to sit behind? Well, I think we have a wily vet. He's just not actually suiting up each week. His name is Davis Webb, and we're going to break down why I think it's going to be an incredible thing for Bo Nix to sit behind him. So remember, Davis Webb actually started his final game in the NFL back in 2022, and he was only 28 years old, and he ended up playing a game for the New York Giants, and then all of a sudden jumping ship and coaching with Sean Payton. And people were like scratching their head about that because, you know, like if you're a backup quarterback in the NFL, that's pretty easy money just to hold a clipboard. And Davis Webb said, I didn't leave playing football for nothing. This is my dream, and he wants to be a head coach someday. People are incredibly high on Davis Webb. We heard when Sean Payton ended up going out and getting him, Davis was really highly recommended. He was a coach's son. We know that's a theme. Sean Payton loves that. It's part of why he fell in love with Bo Nix. And Brian Daboll and Eli Manning both gushed about him, just his ability to break down film, his ability to connect with players. And while Davis Webb was not insanely successful with Russell Wilson, he was actually quite a bit younger than Russell Wilson. That's probably a weird thing for a quarterback to have a younger coach than they are. And so I think this is just going to be a tremendous thing for Bo Nix to rely on a coach who played the position just a few years ago, played it at a really high level, someone who can bring a crazy amount of energy to it. Part of this new energy that Sean Payton has talked about being contagious, this young, youthful energy that's contagious, and it's making him just look like he's got a spring in his step at Broncos OTAs. I think part of that is stemming from Davis Webb and what he's doing in that quarterback room, and I think that should make us all really, really excited. Sean Payton, I know I'm a total homer here, but I think Sean Payton has just hit banger after banger. I would say he's hitting like 900 as a coach right now. I feel like he's made a ton of fantastic moves. We go from, you remember under Nathaniel Hackett when Mile High was counting down the play clock to all of a sudden doing things that no other Broncos team could have done. Do you remember how the Buffalo Bills game ended, both at half and then ended the game? That we did something that you rarely see in the NFL, where you ran a play and then immediately from that play ran the special teams unit on, which is really difficult and takes everybody being on the same exact page in order to pull that off. So here we have Russell Wilson completed right over the middle. You got the clock winding down, and you run your special teams field goal unit on, which is part of the reason at the end of that game that the Buffalo Bills had too many men on the field, and we actually got to attempt that kick twice. And that is truly Sean Payton just hitting all of these moves out of the park. I think bringing in Jim Leonard as this passing game coordinator, I think Sean Payton has done very little wrong in his time in Denver, and I'm super pumped about that. And hope you all are excited about that as well. Do you think Davis Webb will be a crucial developer of Bo Nix? Other thing I saw just yesterday that I had to just point out here, which I thought was crazy. So we saw Courtland Sutton tweet during Broncos OTAs that winning a Super Bowl in Denver has, meaning current tense, has always been my goal, winning a Super Bowl in Denver. And then the very next tweet that we see from the Denver Broncos was the first time that we've actually seen Courtland Sutton wearing the new uniform. So I think this is a very good sign that Courtland Sutton will indeed be coming back. We know this next week, starting tomorrow, is another optional OTA. And so I don't envision him coming back for this one, but I do envision him coming back for the mandatory ones and not turning this into an actual holdout situation. So I'm eager to see Courtland Sutton. I think him tweeting out, hey, it's always been my goal, meaning not a past tense, but like this is what I want to do. And then seeing the Denver Broncos just right away tweet out a picture that has him really in the center of this picture. And I think that's an exciting thing to have him to help aid with the development of Bo Nix. Other thing I saw that I thought was super interesting, the NFL.com ranked the most underrated, uncelebrated player on each team. I don't think he's underrated or undercelebrated on Sports Talk Denver because we talk about him all the time. We love his belly, Quinn Meinerz, and the reason I'm high on him is because I think he is going to truly give a lot more leeway for our new center in Alex Forsyth. I think looking at Cushenberry, he had a lot of years where he struggled, and it wasn't until he had two great guards right next to him that he actually ended up being any good. I think that center position really is all about communication and feeling really confident in the guys right next to you. And I think with Powers and Meinerz, we have amazing guards right on either side of him, and I think that's going to be a really, really good thing for the Denver Broncos. Other awesome thing that we are seeing is that the Denver Broncos are in very good shape with regards to the cap. So we are going to have a ton of cap flexibility next year. Part of that is going to have to go to Pat Surtain, and part of that's going to have to go to Quinn Meinerz, but we are going to be in really, really good shape as we only have a few players who are locked into the cap, and then obviously we know we have already taken the brunt of the Russell Wilson dead cap hit. And even with that, we are in a place where I'm feeling very, very competitive and very frisky for next year. And I hope you all are as well. That who would have guessed that we would take the big chunk of this year and we're not even really feeling it. The Denver Broncos did not make any giant splashes in free agency this year, but I think Sean Payton has been right in all of his moves. It's crazy to me that Justin Simmons, it was really hard to watch him go, yet still he's a free agent right now. And so I think Sean Payton has not done any wrong with regards to that. And the future is really bright that this is like the darkest time to be a Broncos fan, yet we have so much hope. And I think we're going to really trick some people this year as there are predictions that we're going to win 4 or 5 games. I just do not see that. I don't see us taking any massive steps back. And so I think that's something to be extremely, extremely excited about. Last thing to be excited about is just seeing Zach Allen. And I think Zach Allen this year is poised to just have a great breakout year. We saw a lot of flashes of him last year. And I think the part about him that has me the most excited is probably the fact that now he's got a bunch of other defensive line talent around him, bringing in Malcolm Roach, bringing in the cat from the New York Jets. And so I just think our line is a standout line now, and we're going to see some big flashes in year 2 of Vance Joseph's system. We hear time and time again about how much players improve year 1 to 2 and how much coaches improve year 1 to 2, that you really are starting to see their playbook and the way that they approach the whole game changing year 1 to 2. Part of the reason Sean Payton went on that 5-game winning streak was because people started learning what he wanted to run, and that there is going to be a learning curve, especially with a lack of, you can't do 3-a-day practices like you used to be able to do back in the Civil War olden days. But now we're going to see what Sean Payton's system really looks like in year 2, and really looks like with a quarterback who knows how to run it exactly like he wants to run it. So I think this is a fantastic time to be a Broncos fan. Hope you all are with me, and we all believe. Oh, that one just kissed the rim. It just hung up there.